everyone, and welcome back. We're going to do a deep dive into a true legend of the automotive world today, the Toyota Prius.
Ooh, the Prius.
Yeah. We've got a whole bunch of articles and data here covering, its humble beginnings, its impact on the car industry, even some juicy comparisons to its rivals.
You know, it's interesting. We always think about the Prius as just a fuel-efficient car.
Right.
But it's so much more than that. It's really like a symbol of a shift in how we look at transportation.
Mm-hmm.
And its influence goes way beyond, like, miles per gallon.
Yeah, okay, so buckle up, everybody. By the end of this deep dive, you'll be a Prius Pro, but you'll also understand how this one car, sparked a whole revolution in the car world. So let's start at the beginning. The Prius, it wasn't just another car rolling off the line. It was, the first mass-produced hybrid vehicle, 1997.
1997, that was a big year.
A big year.
It was a bold move by Toyota.
Yeah, it really was.
Imagine, the car landscape back then.
Yeah.
Big, gas-guzzling kind of car ruled the roads. And then this idea of a mass-market hybrid was practically radical.
Radical, yeah. It was like a whisper of what the future could be, right?
Right.
And speaking of the future, all this source material is, filled with terms like sustainable mobility and green transportation. What do those even mean in practical terms?
So think of sustainable mobility as moving people and goods, but doing it in a way that really minimizes the impact on the environment, social disruption, economic cost.
Okay.
It's not just about the car itself. It's about the whole transportation ecosystem.
So the Prius, with its fuel efficiency, low emissions, it kind of fits right into that.
Totally. It was like a real tangible step towards a more sustainable future.
Right.
But going back to 1997, it wasn't all smooth sailing.
No.
Our sources actually point out some of the engineering challenges that Toyota faced.
I'm imagining engineers, huddled around a whiteboard just scratching their heads.
Yeah, so perfecting the hybrid synergy drive, that was no walk in the park.
Hybrid synergy drive.
Which seamlessly blends, the gasoline engine with an electric motor.
Wow.
It required some serious innovation.
Yeah, I can imagine. You've got two different power sources working together there. How do you even make that, smooth and efficient?
Like conducting an orchestra, you know?
Okay.
Making sure that each instrument plays its part perfectly at the right time.
Uh-huh.
Toyota had to develop this incredibly sophisticated software to manage the interaction between the engine, the electric motor, and the battery.
Yeah.
And let's not forget regenerative braking, ground braking.
Yeah, okay.
Which captures energy during braking and feeds it right back to the battery.
Mind-blowing. How much thought and engineering went into making the system just, work smoothly?
Oh, yeah.
It paid off, though.
Yeah.
The Prius became known for, its incredibly smooth ride and that impressive fuel efficiency.
Exactly. The early Prius models were achieving unheard of fuel economy numbers for their time. And then as technology, continued to advance, those numbers kept getting better and better.
Wow.
I mean, we've got data here showing a just steady increase in MPG across all the different Prius generations.
It's not just marketing hype. The numbers actually back it up.
Totally.
What about the design, that distinctive look, that wedge shape? Was that just for looks or was there more to it?
No, that iconic wedge shape is a perfect example of form-following function.
Okay.
Our research really highlights how Toyota's engineers, they meticulously designed the Prius to minimize wind resistance.
So it's like they sculpted the car in a wind tunnel.
Yeah.
I get it. But there was some criticism about the design, wasn't there? I remember hearing people say it was a bit unconventional.
Oh, absolutely. In the early days, the Prius was seen as, a bit quirky, maybe even a little geeky.
Yeah.
But you know what? It stood out.
It did.
It made a statement. And that in itself became part of its appeal.
I guess it was like a badge of honor, right? For early adopters. They were driving something different.
Yeah.
Something that reflected, their values.
For sure.
But let's be honest, looks aren't everything. What about the tech, the safety features? Was the Prius ahead of the curve there, too?
Absolutely. Toyota packed the Prius with features that were often way ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Toyota Safety Sense package, which, is now standard on most Toyota vehicles.
Break that down for me.
Okay, so we're talking pre-collision systems with pedestrian detection, lane departure alerts, dynamic radar cruise control.
I gotcha.
Features that, really help you stay safe on the road.
Yeah.
The Prius was an early adopter of these technologies, kind of paving the way for safer cars across the board.
And remember, intelligent parking assistance.
Oh, yeah.
Parallel parking nightmares, be gone.
Exactly. groundbreaking at the time.
It was.
Using sensors and cameras, the system could identify a suitable parking spot and then steer the car right into that space.
Took all the stress out of city driving.
Oh, yeah.
But even beyond safety, right?
Yeah.
The Prius was designed to enhance the driving experience with tech.
Oh, for sure. The advanced driver information display was a game changer,
Okay.
giving drivers real-time feedback on fuel consumption, energy flow, even driving style.
You're not just driving, you're like actively engaged with the car.
Totally.
Yeah.
It made you more aware of your impact behind the wheel.
Very cool.
It was a subtle nudge towards more mindful driving.
Yeah.
And it's a feature that's evolved significantly in modern Priuses.
So we've got the revolutionary impact, the crazy tech, the parking assist, but let's get to the heart of it. How environmentally friendly is the Prius, really?
The numbers speak for themselves, right?
Yeah.
Our sources have very compelling data on the Prius's CO2 emissions compared to, like, your traditional gas guzzlers.
Okay.
And we're talking a substantial reduction, not just like a tiny improvement.
So you're making a real difference by choosing the Prius.
You are.
But beyond just the emissions, is there anything else that adds to its eco-friendly cred?
Well, Toyota has been really, really focused on sustainable manufacturing practices.
Okay.
The Prius is built with recycled and environmentally friendly materials
Wow.
to, like, minimize its environmental footprint from the get-go.
So it's not just about what comes out the tailpipe.
Right.
It's about the entire life of the car.
Exactly. Toyota considers the environmental impact at every stage, from design and production to eventual recycling, setting a high bar for the industry.
They are. But let's be honest, some people still have this image of hybrid cars as like small and impractical. You have to sacrifice comfort and space to be eco-conscious.
Right.
Is that true for the Prius?
That's another misconception we got to debunk.
Okay.
The Prius is surprisingly spacious.
Really?
The interior, it's designed ergonomically, comfortable seating, user-friendly dashboard. And get this, it actually has more cargo space than some of those gas guzzlers.
No way. Really? I wouldn't have expected that. Do you have the numbers?
We do. The Prius offers a very generous 27.4 cubic feet of cargo volume, while some competitors only offer around 20.8.
So you can haul your groceries, your camping gear, even a small piece of furniture, all while being kind to the planet.
Yeah.
That's a win-win. But what about performance?
Oh, yeah.
Is the Prius just about fuel economy and no fun?
Okay, that's a myth we got to bust right now.
Okay.
The Prius may not be, a sports car, but it's definitely not sluggish.
Okay.
That electric motor provides instant torque, giving you a surprisingly peppy acceleration.
Really? I always imagine hybrids being a bit, tame.
You'd be surprised, especially in the city. That instant torque makes the Prius feel really agile and responsive.
Okay.
And the handling is really balanced, making it a genuinely enjoyable ride.
So it's not just about being green. It's about enjoying the drive.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. The Prius is revolutionary. It's efficient, spacious. It's even fun to drive. But what about the cost? Is owning a Prius a smart money move?
Now, that's where things get really interesting. Because when you consider that long-term cost of ownership, the Prius really shines.
So where are the savings?
First, you've got, obviously, the fuel savings,
Right.
which can be huge over the lifetime of the car.
Right.
But the Prius is also known for its low maintenance costs.
So less time at the mechanic.
Exactly. The hybrid system and the regenerative braking means less wear and tear on the engine and brakes. Now, you'll still need regular maintenance.
Sure.
But you can expect fewer unexpected repairs.
Okay.
And lower overall costs compared to a traditional gas car.
And that's a big deal for anyone on a budget. What about resale value? Do Priuses hold their value well?
They do. Priuses are known for their reliability, durability, which means excellent resale value.
Really?
They're very sought after on the used car market.
That's great.
You can expect a good return on your investment.
So you're saving money on fuel, maintenance, and resale. It seems like a pretty compelling financial case for the Prius.
Oh, yeah. And there's more.
There's more.
There are other things to consider, like potential tax incentives for hybrid vehicles.
Oh, right.
And even lower insurance premiums in some cases.
So it's not just about the sticker price. It's about the bigger financial picture.
It is.
It really sounds like Toyota has thought of everything to make the Prius a good choice for, like your wallet and your conscience.
They've definitely put together a compelling package.
They have.
And it gets even more interesting when you consider the different Prius models and trim levels out there.
Okay, let's talk about the Prius family. What are the key differences?
So you've got the Prius L Eco, which
Okay.
is the champ of fuel efficiency,
Okay.
an impressive 58 milligrams in the city and 53 on the highway.
Wow.
Then there's the Prius LE, offering standard Toyota Safety Sense features,
Right?
a 7-inch touchscreen infotainment system, and dual-zone automatic climate control.
For those who want a bit more luxury, there's the Prius XLE, right?
You got it. The XLE comes with heated front seats, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert,
Nice.
even that intelligent parking assist we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And we can't forget the Prius Prime,
The Prius.
which takes things to a whole other level with its plug-in hybrid technology.
That's the one that can be plugged in. And you can drive on just electric power, right?
Yes, you get an amazing 133 mpg in electric mode
Wow.
and a still impressive 54 LP trim in hybrid mode.
Yeah.
You can drive up to 25 miles on just electric power.
Wow.
Perfect for, running errands around town.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so there were options for maximizing fuel efficiency,
Yeah.
prioritizing tech and safety, or even going, partially electric.
It's a pretty diverse lineup.
It is. Toyota's done a great job catering to different needs with the Prius family.
They have, but what's even more exciting is that they're not stopping there.
They're nothing.
So this is where we get a glimpse into the future, right? What's next for the Prius?
Toyota's always innovating, always pushing the boundaries of hybrid technology. They're putting a lot of resources into research and development to make the Prius even more sustainable, even more technologically advanced.
Like what? What are we talking about here?
Think like improved battery tech for longer electric ranges.
Okay.
Maybe even autonomous driving features like a self-driving Prius.
Oh, a self-driving Prius.
It's definitely on the horizon.
Yeah.
Toyota is a leader in autonomous vehicle development, so it's just a matter of time before we see those features on the Prius.
And they're going to be using even more sustainable materials, right? To make the Prius even greener.
Absolutely. They're exploring everything. Recycled plastics, bio-based materials, all to minimize the Prius's environmental impact.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's really incredible to think about a car that was once considered revolutionary, right?
Yeah.
And now it's still pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It's like it's on a mission.
It is.
The future of the Prius is looking bright, greener than ever.
Greener than ever.
Welcome back, everybody. We're still in the world of the Toyota Prius, and last time we left off talking about the future of this really innovative car. It's amazing to think how far it's come from those first models to the tech-tacked Priuses we have on the roads today.
It's funny how, the perception of the Prius has changed over time, right?
Yeah.
It used to be seen as, this niche car for, the eco-conscious elite.
Right.
Now it's, totally mainstream,
It is.
even considered, stylish by some.
I remember when that first Prius came out, it definitely turned heads.
Wow.
But maybe not for the reasons Toyota had in mind.
Right.
It was just so different, so unconventional.
It really challenged the idea of what a car could be.
It did.
And that's what makes it so fascinating,
Yeah.
The Prius kind of forced the whole industry and even consumers to rethink their priorities.
It wasn't all about horsepower and flashy designs anymore. It became about fuel efficiency, low emissions,
Yeah.
That eco-conscious image became a selling point.
Yeah, for sure.
A powerful legacy for one car.
It is.
Let's talk about the driving experience, though. Some people still think that hybrids are all about practicality and compromise. They don't have the oomph of a gas-powered car. What's your take on that?
I think that's a misconception for sure that we need to kind of clear up.
Okay.
The Prius, especially, the newer models, can actually be pretty hard to drive.
Really?
You get that instant torque from the electric motor,
Okay.
which makes for a really responsive acceleration, especially in city driving.
So it's not just about saving on gas. It's about feeling like that zip when you hit the accelerator.
Yeah. And the transition between, the electric motor and the gas engine is so smooth.
Yeah.
You hardly notice it.
Okay.
It's really a smooth, refined driving experience.
Okay, so it's got pep, but how does the Prius handle? Does it feel, nimble, or is it kind of weighed down by all that hybrid tech?
Well, the Prius is actually pretty agile, especially when you think about how spacious the interior is.
Yeah.
The battery pack is, it's strategically placed, under the rear seats,
Oh, okay.
which gives it a lower center of gravity,
Yeah.
improving the handling and the stability.
So you're saying it can, take corners.
It can. I mean, it's not a sports car,
Right.
but it's definitely more enjoyable to drive than a lot of people might think.
Yeah.
And you get that quietness from the electric motor,
Yeah.
especially when you're just, cruising around town.
Yeah.
It adds like a certain level of serenity to the whole experience.
It's like gliding through the streets instead of rumbling over them.
Yeah.
I like that. Let's be practical for a second. What about long-term ownership? We know the Prius is known for being reliable.
Yeah.
But are there any specific maintenance tips that Prius owners should be aware of?
That's a really good question. The good news is the Prius is generally a low maintenance car
Okay, good.
because that hybrid system shares the workload between the gas engine and electric motor.
Yeah.
There's just less wear and tear on traditional parts like the engine, the brakes.
So less time under the hood and fewer trips to the mechanic.
You got it.
Yeah.
But of course, you still have to follow the manufacturer's recommended maintenance schedule,
Of course.
just like any other car.
Yeah.
Just be prepared for those service appointments to be a little less frequent and maybe a little less expensive.
All right. Good news for our wallets. What about the battery, though?
Yeah.
That's a crucial part of the whole hybrid system.
It is.
What can Prius owners expect when it comes to, like, battery lifespan,
Right.
replacement costs?
So Toyota's gotten really good with their battery tech. You know,
Okay.
the Prius batteries are designed to last a really long time,
Okay.
often for the life of the car.
So it's not like you're always worried about the battery dying on you.
No, they go through rigorous testing,
Yeah.
and Toyota offers a great warranty on the battery.
That's good.
But even if in rare cases the battery needs to be replaced, the costs have come down significantly in the last few years.
That's good to know. It sounds like Toyota's really taken, like, the potential concerns of hybrid owners
They have.
and addressed them head on.
Yeah, they have.
Let's zoom out a bit and talk about the Prius in, like, a broader sense. How has this car influenced the car industry as a whole?
The impact of the Prius has been monumental.
Yeah.
It's not an exaggeration to say that it's single-handedly popularized hybrid technology
Wow.
and paved the way for the electric vehicle revolution that we're seeing today.
It was like a trailblazer, right?
It was, yeah.
Forging a path for others to follow.
Absolutely.
When the Prius first, hit the scene, it was seen as like an oddity, right? Like a science experiment on wheels almost. But its success proved that there was a real demand for fuel-efficient, eco-friendly cars.
Yeah, and that success, I mean, it sent shockwaves through the entire industry.
It must have.
Oh, yeah. All of a sudden, every car manufacturer was trying to develop their own hybrid models.
Right.
The Prius started a race to electrify the whole automotive landscape.
It's like it wasn't competing with other cars. It was competing with an entire industry's mindset.
I like that. That's a great way to put it.
And it's amazing to see how far we've come, since then.
Yeah.
Hybrids are everywhere now, and electric vehicles are gaining popularity so quickly.
They are.
It's hard to imagine this shift without the Prius, like, leading the charge.
Yeah, for sure. It kind of changed the whole conversation,
It did.
Made it okay to talk about fuel efficiency and emissions without sounding, like a tree hugger.
Right. It's interesting how the Prius also influenced car design.
Oh,
That aerodynamic, wedge-shaped look has become like a signature for hybrids and electric vehicles.
yeah. It's almost like a visual shorthand for eco-friendly.
Well, right. And it's not just about the look.
No.
Those design elements actually contribute to fuel efficiency.
Absolutely. The Prius showed that form and function, they can work together
Yeah.
to create a car that's both stylish and sustainable.
It's a pretty impressive legacy for a single car.
It really is.
It challenged, like, the whole status quo, pushed the boundaries of technology,
Totally.
and ultimately changed how we think about transportation.
It did. And it's still evolving. As we talked about earlier, Toyota's always innovating.
Yeah.
They're exploring ways to make the Prius, even more efficient, more technologically advanced, more sustainable.
It's like it's on a mission.
It is.
To keep pushing those boundaries, to show the world what's possible.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears a bit, though, and talk about something a bit more personal. What does, like, owning a Prius say about a person? What kind of values do you think it reflects?
It's interesting. I think owning a Prius is, at its core, a statement about prioritizing sustainability.
Okay.
It shows a conscious choice to try to reduce your environmental impact.
Like a badge of honor for those who care about the planet.
In a way, yeah, but it's also about practicality and forward thinking. You know,
Yeah.
Prius owners, they tend to be people who value efficiency, innovation, long-term thinking.
They're not just buying a car, they're buying into like a vision of a more sustainable future, right?
Exactly. It's about aligning your actions with your values.
Uh-huh.
And the Prius has also become a bit of a status symbol in some circles.
Wait, a status symbol? I thought it was all about like being unassuming and eco-friendly.
It's a different kind of status symbol, I think.
Right.
It's not about flashy displays of wealth or
Right,
anything.
right.
It's about showcasing your commitment to the sustainability, to innovation.
So it's like saying, I care about the planet and I'm driving a car that reflects that.
Yeah, I think so.
It's really interesting how the Prius has managed to appeal to such a wide range of people,
Yeah.
From the eco-conscious drivers to tech enthusiasts to people just looking for a reliable, efficient car.
Yeah. It's a testament to the versatility of the Prius.
Yeah,
It's a car that transcends traditional categories,
it does.
and it speaks to a much broader set of values.
I like that. Okay, so we've explored, the Prius's performance, its impact on the industry, its cultural significance, but what do you think, like, the future holds for the Prius?
Mhm.
Will it still be around as electric vehicles become more and more common?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
One that a lot of people are asking. I think the Prius, it has a bright future.
It-
I do. It might seem counterintuitive, but the rise of electric vehicles actually, I think, strengthens the Prius's place in the market.
How so? I would think they'd be, like, competing for the same buyers.
For a lot of people, EVs are still a bit of a big step. Range anxiety is a real thing.
Sure.
And the charging infrastructure, it's not as widespread as gas stations yet.
So you're saying the Prius, with its hybrid technology, it kind of bridges the gap.
Exactly. You get the fuel efficiency and the low emissions of an EV when you're driving around town, but you also have the peace of mind of a gas engine for, those longer trips.
It's like a stepping stone to a fully electric future.
It is.
And as battery technology gets better and charging infrastructure expands,
Yeah.
the Prius can evolve right alongside it.
Exactly. Toyota's already incorporating those advancements into the Prius.
Yeah.
We're seeing longer electric ranges in the plug-in hybrid models. And they're constantly working on making the whole hybrid system more efficient.
So it's not about choosing like hybrid or electric, right? It's about having options that fit your lifestyle
Exactly.
and your needs. The Prius is like perfectly placed to offer that flexibility.
It is. And you have to consider the cost.
Yeah.
EVs are still pretty expensive compared to hybrids like the Prius.
Sure.
So for people who are budget conscious, the Prius is still a really great option.
It's a more accessible way to be eco-conscious without, emptying your wallet.
Yeah.
And with Toyota's commitment to innovation,
Yeah.
we can expect to see even more exciting developments from the Prius in the coming years.
I think so.
I think so, too. It's going to continue to surprise us, right?
Absolutely.
This car that's constantly changing, pushing the limits of what's possible in sustainable transportation.
For sure.
Well, that brings us to the end of part 2 of our deep dive into the Toyota Prius. We've explored its performance, its impact on the whole industry, its cultural significance, and even what the future holds.
It's been fun.
And we're back for the final part of our Prius deep dive. We've gone over a lot, from its amazing technology to its cultural impact, even its its surprisingly peppy performance.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey.
It has. But before we wrap up, I want to touch on something we haven't really gotten into. The social and cultural significance of the Prius. I mean, it's become more than just a car, hasn't it?
Oh, totally. It's really fascinating how the Prius has become part of our collective consciousness.
Right.
It's like a cultural icon representing a whole bunch of values.
Yeah. It's like, for some people, driving a Prius is like a way to show their environmental awareness, their commitment to being, eco-friendly, sustainable. It's almost like a badge of honor,
It's interesting how the Prius has kind of transcended those traditional ideas of status.
You know, it's not about flashy design or raw power. It's about making a statement with your your choice of transportation.
Yeah, it's a quiet kind of status, almost like an anti-status symbol. It's
Right.
like saying, "Hey, I'm successful enough to afford any car, but I choose this one because it matches my values."
Exactly.
Right.
It's about, efficiency, innovation, responsibility.
Right.
And that message is resonating with more and more people, especially as we all think more and more about climate change
Yeah.
and sustainability.
Yeah. It's like the Prius, it tapped into this cultural shift,
It did,
this growing awareness that we have an impact on the planet.
for sure.
And it gave people a real tangible way to express their commitment to a better, more sustainable future.
Totally.
And it's not just about like individual choices.
Right.
The Prius has also influenced policy, corporate decisions.
Yeah, for sure.
Governments are putting in incentives for hybrid and electric vehicles.
Companies are adopting sustainable transportation policies, and it's partly because of the success of the Prius, like a ripple effect, right?
Totally.
Starting with this one car and then spreading out to influence these bigger, broader societal changes.
It's pretty amazing.
It is pretty amazing. It really shows the power of innovation,
Yeah.
how a single product can spark a whole movement, challenge the status quo.
Totally.
The Prius showed that a car could be fuel efficient and desirable, and it changed the whole car industry.
Absolutely.
And it's still evolving, right?
It is.
We talked about all these upcoming innovations, longer ranges, self-driving features, even more sustainable materials. What do you think the Prius of the future is going to look like?
It's fun to think about the possibilities,
Yeah.
Will it like be even more connected to smart cities, communicating with infrastructure, optimizing like traffic flow?
Oh, I like that. Maybe it'll anticipate your needs, adjust its settings based on how you drive, your preferences.
Right. Or even like generate and share energy, contributing to a decentralized power grid.
Whoa, those are some cool ideas. Who knows what other innovations are just around the corner?
Right.
The Prius has always been ahead of the curve, so I think it's safe to say it'll keep pushing those boundaries.
Yeah.
It's inspiring to think about the role that the Prius has played in how we see cars and how we see the environment.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that innovation can drive real change,
Yeah.
and that even seemingly, small choices can have a big impact.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to encourage everyone listening to think about this Prius phenomenon. What does it say about what we value, about what we want for the future?
Yeah. Think about it. How has it changed your own views on transportation, on sustainability?
What role do you think cars like the Prius will play in shaping the world we want to live in?
These are big questions, and I think the Prius gives us like a really interesting case study on how innovation, how consumer demand, how these cultural shifts, they can all come together to make real progress.
That's a great point. It's a reminder that we all have a part to play in creating a more sustainable future.
Yeah.
And that even small choices like the car we drive can make a difference.
Baby.
So as we sign off, we want to leave you with this. The Prius, it's more than just a car. It's a story of innovation, of responsibility, of what humans can do to create a better world.
Well said.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
We hope you've enjoyed exploring the amazing world of the Toyota Prius.
Yeah,
Keep
nice.
diving deep, everyone.